Hey guys, what's happening?
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. I'm going to put my cell number in here for anybody who wants to text some questions. There we go. 370.
Drew has fat fingers.
Oh man. Okay, hold on.
Every time.
4968667. All right, there we go. Can I get this? Can I pin this? Is it gonna work to pin? It's not gonna work to pin.
This
I
is
tried.
like a game because you guys keep typing.
You guys are too
And
fast.
Hold on, can you go up?
It won't. Yeah, there it is.
Oh.
All
This
right.
is so painful to
I can never move fast enough.
Let me try.
Hold on a second. And inviting Kat in as well.
If this works for... Oh wait, can you do two things?
There you go.
See,
Look at that.
Good
See,
morning.
Hey, how's it going?
morning.
Good. How are you?
Good. So we always laugh whenever we do an Instagram live. I'll put my cell number up there so everybody can see I pinned it. If they want to ask you questions, they can text me directly.
Wow.
310-496-867. But my fingers, I got to pin it. My fingers are too chubby. I can't do it. I have no soul. So Linda with her tiny fingers can get in there to pin it.
That's
So,
okay. I'm a ginger. I have no soul anyway. So there you go.
there you
That's how
go.
it works.
And I'm Scottish, so I can relate to that. So,
There you go.
so how's life at home?
You know, it's quieter than I'd like it to be. I guess it's been interesting. You know, I haven't been in this place for more than a few weeks at a time since I've moved in here because I'm always out of town shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you know, I'm a very social creature, so I'm not used to being alone for this long. So it's been interesting. How have you guys been?
Good. I mean, we're lucky to have each other. I see you have your boyfriend as well. Your what's his name? Is it Bob?
Bob. Here, I'll let Bob say hi because you know, he's really quiet. So this is Bob.
Bob looks a little beaten up.
This is his boyfriend. He is. We've gone a few rounds. But he's the strong silent type, but we're not really on speaking terms at the moment.
Yeah. It's all right. Yeah. He looks a little gruff. Now hold on. The place you're in, is that the place that we came by to give you a couple of pointers for? Did you ever do any of the work we talked about for renovation or design?
A couple of the things. I did a few things to the kitchen. I don't remember if I'd done that yet when you guys came over.
No, I don't think anything was done.
I had. Here, I can show you. I just did a few simple things because I'm never here, but I put in some subway tile.
Oh, nice.
And a backsplash, and I put in
Nice.
some cabinets and changed the hardware. But that's pretty much the extent of things because I have been in Canada for the most part.
So you've been filming up in Vancouver, right?
I've been in Toronto for several years, and then the last 2 I've been in Vancouver.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So she's from Toronto. I'm from Vancouver. So there, we can tell you all the spots to go.
Both wonderful towns.
Yeah. So, and again, with questions and stuff that are coming into, I have a question for you about filming up there. So you have all the superhero action that you do, and then you have Arrow, Batwoman. You did a
Crossover. I was on a bunch of episodes of a bunch of the shows.
So how's that? Like to get to, where did that come from? Getting to play like superhero type character and also kicking butt in Shadowhunters.
So that was sort of an accident that I just fell into this sort of ass-kicking genre for the last several years. But it was certainly an advantage coming from Shadowhunters Arrow because our stunt coordinators on Shadowhunters trained me like 3 to 5 times a week, taught me everything I know, and then when I was cast in Arrow, I found out my character was not only the daughter of the Green Arrow, but also a street fighter. So I ended up carrying those skills over into the new show, which was great. But there are some very special moments in this crazy world of entertainment that we all work in, where you just kind of have to pinch yourself. And one of those was the crossover for the Arrow world, because when you have Superman and the Flash and the Green Arrow and Batwoman and Supergirl all on set, you're in your own super show. This is cool.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's unreal.
As a young kid, so when I was growing up, I did martial arts. I did karate, but I never got to do, as a young actor, I never got to do any fighting or martial arts, and my dream was always to be a superhero. And then as I was a young adult, I was on Smallville. I was actually a body double for Tom Welling for Superman. And then I just had some bit part stuff. And I remember being around there, and then you saw like Justin Hartley from This Is Us. He was Arrow, I think, right? He was, yeah. And so I remember chatting with him back in the day, and then seeing all when they would bring in all the crossovers of all different characters. I remember thinking like, this is the best thing ever to be a part of something like that, and it learned to kick butt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What really happens is you have enough of us that, you know, started in music theater and have been doing this forever. And so in between takes, they'll call cut, and Melissa Grant and I are singing tap dancing.
Mm-hmm. That's also what superheroes do.
That's what we want to see. We want to see superheroes tap dancing, like in costume.
Well, I'm dying to do a musical episode, so maybe, you know, next year we'll have to get creative with the crossover.
I like that. But now,
next year, but we'll see.
Yeah. Were you singing before you got into acting, or where did? Because I had no idea you were singing about your singing until I saw something posted recently about a song that you wrote.
Oh yeah. So I didn't start. I started theater. I started in musical theater. So all of that. I've been a dancer my whole life, but everything else kind of started when I entered this whole industry. But yeah, recently I released a song, and all of the proceeds are going to World Health Organization.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was an old theater from like 6 years ago, and I figured, well, we all need content, and it's fun and silly, and might as well make some money for a good cause.
Yeah.
What's the name of the song?
It's called Just Like James. It's sort of a play James Bond, and the entire song is a pun. I didn't write it. I heard it. A friend of mine wrote it, and I heard it, and it had to do it.
Wait, I can't quite picture the song. What's a little taste of how it goes?
If I was worked up this morning, I'd do it for you. But
all right, fine. We Kurt is asking me to ask you, wondering how you're coping with lockdown, what's keeping you busy in lockdown, and sending her love as well.
Oh, that's so sweet. What am I doing? I've been doing a lot of working out. I've been doing a lot of reorganizing the house, but I've also been house hunting, as you know. So that's been a fun process of, you know, being in my house so much. I'm what I want and need more. I've also been hiking and kind of exploring LA a little bit because I'm never here.
Yeah. This is the longest we've ever been at home or in one city.
Yeah.
For the past decade.
Because we usually film, we'll be in 3 different cities at the same time, and, you know, we're on a plane every 2 days, so it's nice to actually root ourselves a little bit and get to see the city. So we've been walking around a little bit too, but also driving the different neighborhoods, because we don't know a lot of the neighborhoods. There's so many gorgeous neighborhoods around here, walkable areas.
It's really so pockets of things that you wouldn't even know were there.
Yeah. So when you're at home, is a part of what you have to do just for your shows and everything, that you have to keep up your hardcore training, like your super ninja training?
Well, this is the thing. Right now, I'm in limbo in between. We did a backdoor pilot for a spinoff, which we don't know if it's going to. But I've always been an athlete in the sense that I've danced my whole life, and I used to play softball. But since doing all of these shows, fitness has become something that I do for me, and it's my little time. I take a couple hours a day and turn off my phone and put on Netflix or a podcast or an audiobook and just do something good for me. And it's been just pass the time and keep my podcast and everything.
Nice. Yeah. And when you say you just throw a podcast on, you mean you throw on At Home with Linda and Drew Scott, right?
I actually didn't know it was a podcast, but I will now.
There you go. Hey, well, anybody else who's listening too, At Home is our podcast, and it's just where we sit down with cool peeps like you and just sort of dig into your story a bit and see what home means. So, speaking of home meaning to you, what was growing up for you? Do you have siblings or just you? Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was your childhood like? What kind of is your personality very similar to what you were like as a kid, or was it very different?
I think my personality is pretty similar. I've always been a little bit of a grandma in a sense.
Yay!
I spent most of my time at my grandparents' house. They have this gorgeous home in the middle of the woods in Kansas City, and I spent all of my time either baking or cooking with my grandparents or just out in the backyard wandering. And that that's always been what home is to me. You know, they sort of brought the outside in and have all this stonework in their house that was the land that they built originally a rock quarry. So they had a spring that they happened upon building. So now there's a pond in the back. Rock comes up in the house, and it's gorgeous. And that space, you know, we always have this gorgeous property, but we all end up in the kitchen all the time, just sitting around snacking.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the same for our family. We always have. Growing up, our parents' place was always where all of our friends would go, even over the holidays. Instead of them going home to their house, they would just come to our house. So we always had a full table around in the kitchen. Yeah.
That's how my grandparents are. Why don't you, you know, parents usually are like, no, you can't have parties. Parents were always like, bring your friends for the marriage. Hang out. We'll make it great.
Yeah, your mom's like that too. Your mom, I hope she's doing well, and she was so friendly and sweet when we met her. And does she live in LA as well, or where does she live?
No, she doesn't. So when I moved out, I was like 14, so she came with me. But now she's back with my grandparents in Kansas City right now.
Oh, okay. Well, pass on a big
That's
hello
nice,
to her from us. Yeah.
She's so shy, and whenever it's always a big whenever she meets anybody.
She's so sweet.
She is sweet. Now, are you learning to cook, or are you a good cook while you're at home?
I'm definitely a baker. I can bake it, but I cook enough to feed myself. But I've been experimenting a little bit with, whatever rations are left over in my house, since I'm trying not to go to the store very much.
Yeah. What have you been baking?
I've been experimenting with sort of what's left over in my house. So I only have gluten-free flour. And I found this old recipe it's called like depression cake, or it's like a World War II recipe, or from the Great Depression as well. And
It's a
it's
terrible name.
Have yeast, you don't have certain ingredients, but it's like a rum raisin cake. Really good.
Ooh.
Terrible name, but great,
Yeah.
great tasting.
You'll have to send us the recipe.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been getting creative too. So we have a little garden set up outside. So I can't believe how it's like a hydroponics tower. So I can't believe how fast all the lettuce and herbs are growing, ridiculously fast.
It's
so
cool.
We harvested yesterday for some of the
had like
lettuce.
A big mixing bowl of greens, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
It'll last for 2 or 3 days. We ate it all yesterday in one meal.
Linda also, we have beets, and Linda spent half of her evening last night. She took the stalk from the beet, and she's using it like a pen because it'll write, because it's red, right?
Well, it looks like a big feather.
It looks like a feather pen.
Like a quill pen or something.
So she literally has 2 napkins that she turned into pieces of artwork downstairs that was from her.
Yeah, I end up
beet
playing
pen.
with my food.
Yeah.
Why
I have a question for you.
fun with your food?
Yeah.
You gotta have fun. So Nuha, I hope I said that right, from Lake Forest, is asking if you, ask Kat if they're going to do a complete series of books for the Mortal Instruments.
We actually, at this point, the only that I could foresee Mortal Instruments coming back would be like a 10 reunion, or if this goes on long enough, we'll do a special. But I'm trying to put feelers out there and see what I can order. A Zoom thing, fun, because I really asked every couple of weeks because we all are in LA. Those boys, those are my brothers. I miss those guys.
Yeah. No, you spend time together. You start to miss peeps. It's a second family.
Yeah, we're missing all of our crew as well. We just did a Zoom game night with them a few nights ago, and it was just nice to see people's faces.
Yeah, and it's funny to see how hairy everyone is. Like everyone, I've had a beard for a while, but everyone is like this big bushy beard and long hair. We're all getting a little scrubby. Like look at Linda's beard. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I know. I shaved this morning for you guys.
Yeah, same.
Very kind of you. Yeah, your ginger red coming through in the beard. I'm Scottish, so I have a few, you can see the gray coming in, but I have some red.
Tri-color of brown, white, and
my
red.
ginger. Yeah, coming through. All right.
All right.
We have our cookie jar of questions. We're gonna ask you a cookie jar question.
So on every episode, we just pull out a random question from our T-Rex cookie jar. So, no, wait. That one's a Drew question.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Huh.
All right, what is something that you would want to change about yourself?
Something that I would want to change about myself. Something that I have actually been trying to find to do, and something that this quarantine is actually to do, is take time to relax, work. Because I'm such a workaholic. I love what I do, and I put time into the things that I really care about. But I've been taking time to read, which I haven't done in years. Taking time to sit out in the sun and relax and meditate and make all of these habits that I want to have when I'm busy. But that's the one bright side of this whole quarantine, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
made us all slow down and realize like we don't have to, brutally treat our bodies and minds just for work. We should take time for ourselves.
I think that's exactly it. Self-reflecting and figuring out priorities in life. Like it's been great for us to spend more time together, and like we've been cooking a fair bit together. And I'm no great cook, but she is.
You're a good
And
sous chef.
I'm her sous chef, but it's been really nice. Like just simple little things like that. Here's one last question we'll give you before we all head back to our day. So McKenna McGregor is asking, what is your dream pet that you'd like to share your space with?
You know, I grew up with cats, and because I travel all the time, I haven't been able to have a cat in a really long time. So that's something eventually I would love to do. But when I was a kid, I always wanted hermit crabs. I don't know. I was always fascinated for the coolest little creatures with their own shells and do this whole thing. So maybe someday.
I think that's funny when you see a hermit crab that's like decorated its shell, or it's picked up like a can or something that's its shell. It's the funniest
I
thing.
always think of the Simpsons episode.
I always think of what's that song? What's the oh my gosh, with the jewels? He's got the jewels all over his shell. It's an animated series. It's the guy from Flight of the Conchords. That's the voice.
Shiny.
Yeah, shiny.
That was in Moana.
Moana. Yeah, that's that reminds me of. Yeah.
I
Well,
love
thanks for hanging out for a little bit, and hopefully when things are back to normal, we'll all get together. And again, with the new place at the house hunt, let me know if you have any help you need with design or ideas for renovation.
Oh, I will. Thank you so much. Well.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Talk to you soon.